Global trade is shifting. New tariffs, political tensions, and supply chains are being redrawn. Here at home, the impact is immediate. U.S. imports of Filipino goods fell in August after a 19% tax was slapped on our exports. The International Monetary Fund cut its growth forecast for the Philippines, warning that slower trade and investments could drag on the economy. Now, exports are crucial because they support millions of jobs and bring in dollars that help keep the peso stable. Joining us to break all of this down is Sergio Ortiz-Luis Jr, the president of the Philippine Exporters Confederation. Hello, sir, and welcome again.
Good morning, Mikey, and to our listeners and watchers.
Okay, sir. Let's start with the state of this industry. The 19% U.S. tariff on Philippine goods took effect on August 7th. That was 57 days ago, and we're starting to feel that bite. With export growth, it slowed to 4.6% in August. That's our weakest finish in 8 months. How would you describe the state of our export sector today, sir?
Well, our export to the U.S. is 15% of our total export, and but from the U.S. side, it is only what 1%. But half of that is electronics. The other ones is garments, furnitures, coconut products. But these are the heavy employers. Unfortunately, they're the ones suffering. No? The electronics is not yet affected, but from the projection of originally 10% growth, which they tapered down to 5%. Now I think they probably be flat or at the most 2% growth. And our export to the U.S. Has been affected. And I think this semester our export will lose about $2 billion because of these changes. And of course, we know that Hong Kong overtook the U.S. Last August as the #1 export destination. That shows to prove that we're trying to shift.
Yeah, we are trying to shift
to other areas, but it's easier said than done.
Correct. Exports to the U.S. fell more than 11% in August, whereas sales to Hong Kong surged 26% and Japan 4.7%, effectively overtaking the U.S. Is there realistic hope, sir, that we can negotiate for a better rate, or are exporters, is this going to be the new normal for them?
I don't think that there is a chance to negotiate. Our hope is that they treat our competitors worse than they are treating them now. But to improve I don't think we have any leverage to offer to be able to improve our rates.
Okay, as we shift, sir, we've got to look at all markets and we have to stay nimble. Can Asia realistically, it's the nearest, can it make up for that lost demand in the U.S.?
I don't think it is possible because most of the products we're competing with each other. So we have to look for other market, perhaps in EU, in the Middle East, and of course in ASEAN, where we can have complementary export.
Okay, looking at the whole picture, electronics still make up over half of our export basket. Thankfully, no tariffs on that just yet, but we don't know what Trump's going to do. Electronics, that is $3.87 billion. In August alone, shipments are at $3.87 billion US dollars, but overall growth slowed. Our reliance on electronics as exports, it seems like a strength, but it's also an Achilles heel. It's steady income and employment, but at the same time, parang all our eggs are in one basket, sir.
Yes.
What do you think of this situation?
Very true. That's why we're very worried that, for instance, I think in the electronic industry of Taiwan, Japan, and South Korea, who are our biggest competitors, might have better treatment. And that would mean that our electronics industry here might start, the policy of the U.S. now is
manufacture in the
unless you
US.
manufacture in the U.S.,
Yes.
they are discouraging So they might just move out.
Okay, what are our ASEAN neighbors doing, sir? How are they trying to stay ahead in this new global trade order? And what can the Philippines, what can we learn from them?
Well, some of them are even joining BRICS as a new area of power. I don't think we intend to join BRICS. No? We are also losing market in China, and they're gaining more market in China. Of course, Hong Kong as a hub is also China. No? But then again, I think we have to change our geopolitics.
Yeah, yeah. Are our exporters, can they move fast enough? Do they have the capacity to move fast enough to really seek out the new markets with the vigor that they need to nowadays?
Unfortunately not, because among our neighbors, I think with the support of the government for exporters is the least in our country.
Okay.
We have, DTI, which is the main agency that is in charge of export, is expected to do a lot of things. Trade development, investment, export, and even price
Yes.
stabilization. Yet, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the budget of DTA is 0.7% of the
Yes.
total budget. And I understand they're having a budget hearing now. They might get.
How do you feel
a
about
little-
that, sir? The budget, every time you want to do more with exports, you're told that there isn't enough budget for it. We don't have the money for it. And then you hear about all of these corruption scandals, all of the leakages are coming into fore. How do you feel about all of this, sir, na may pera pala tayo?
In the past, whenever we try to lobby for our budget for two things, for export, for SMEs, questions they will ask us is, where will we get it? It's all allocated for. Now we know where to get it.
Ngayon, alam nyo na kung saan kukunin yung pondo.
If we only can get 5% of what is lost in the flood water, that would help a lot of development of export, also of SMEs, which is lagging behind all our Asian neighbors.
If you could put a number to it, sir, how much does corruption hold back the export sector in the Philippines?
I really don't know, but just to cite you an example how pathetic our exporters are. We have big fairs outside, which we cannot afford, which are supported by our neighbors. No? In the CAIX, for instance, the ones in China, where we will be the host country, so to speak. You know how many our neighbors send exporters? 200 more than 200 in Thailand, more than 200 in Malaysia. Do you know how many we send?
How many,
10.
sir? 10.
And now that we will be the focus country, I don't know if we can send 20 without support. Because although the space will be given to us free, it's expensive for exporters to go.
Yeah.
And all of them are supported by their countries.
Yeah.
You know, in our local exhibitions also, when we try to promote products, when we have our exhibitions here, during the glorious days of export, during the time of President FBR, SITEM can even pay for big buyers.
Why was that the
hotels.
glory days of exports, sir? What did the FVR administration do that other administrations did not?
You know, at the time, we would like to be the next tiger in Asia. And he made export as the linchpins of the economic development. You know, at the height of the crisis, I think it was the Asian crisis, or was it 2019? Our export growth was 21%. The highest, if not the highest in the world, at least the highest in Asia. Our export share in the GDP was more than 50% at the time. And export was really being supported.
Yeah.
No? Not only really selling, he was the one who
Yeah.
went to US. No one did believe he can bring in the electronic sector here.
Yeah. There's really so much that the Philippines can offer the world, sir. Taking a look, stepping back, taking a look at our export targets for the full year, for 2025. Electronics are a backbone of our exports, but take a look at our export revenue. They may only reach 110 billion pesos this year, below the Philippine Development Plan target of 113.42 billion, and well under the Philippine Export Development Plan's goal of 163.6 billion. At 110, taking a look at that lower target, is this ambitious or is this realistic?
Well, when we fixed the target, we partly considered what the tariff will do to us. No? My good guess is we will land at between 105 and 110.
Okay. Okay, 105 and 110 for that export revenue target. What about the peso, sir? It's been hovering at 58 pesos to the dollar. It rebounded this week because of the U.S. government shutdown affecting the dollar, but volatility remains high. For exporters, does a weaker peso cushion the tariff shock, or does the uncertainty just add more risk?
Well, definitely for exporters, OFWs, a lot of them depend on strong peso already. Even our domestic manufacturers, a stronger peso would mean lesser importation.
Okay. Bottom line, sir, if exports keep underperforming, what would be the broader impact on the Philippine economy?
Well, loss of investment, expansion will be held. Of course, definitely loss of employment.
Okay. What's your message to policymakers, to this administration now? What would you like to see them do in the next 12 months, an urgent, top priority to really help the export sector?
Well, I think first and foremost, please give some budget, to a realistic budget, so that, and not even nearing our competitors, but something that is reasonable.
So what's that amount, sir? What's a reasonable amount?
I think the budget of DTI now is 10 billion. Maybe double it.
Okay.
What is 10 billion compared to some projects that we are not doing?
Yeah, when you put it into context, right? And what would you do with that 10 billion,
Oh,
sir?
incidentally, I think they're all going now to social welfare, or so maybe give it part of. Let's not look at this as expense. Let's look at it as investment.
As an investment, okay.
Also give to the SME.
Okay. How would you put that to work, sir, that amount?
Well, of course, that will be used for development of projects, product developments, and marketing.
Yeah.
Improving some our postings. Our postings, you cannot even help exporters. They have no budget.
Yeah. Okay. Right. It'll be nice to see our export sector shine. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Well, thank you so much also for the opportunity.
Yes. Sergio Ortiz-Luis Jr., the president of Phil Export.